Hey, what is up, you guys? Luke Wayne here. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day, and as always, remember high hopes and low expectations. So, in my free time, I've actually been reading a few articles about the Gotham Knights. Obviously, we all have the interviews that the devs have been doing with the articles and interviewers. And actually, I've read a few of them that are French. And I don't think any YouTuber has covered this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I just haven't seen them. And I'm actually surprised no one else has covered this because it does go over some pretty valuable information. If I had to guess why no one else has made a video on this, maybe it's because they are in French. So the only way you can read them, because there is no direct translation, you have to go to Google Translate. And of course, Google Translate is horrendous with grammar, and it makes it really hard to read, and you can't exactly make out some things. So the point of this video is just to go over some general information that I'd wager a lot of you guys didn't actually know, including why Bruce is dead in this game. So the two poorly translated articles that I will be going over today are interviews with Flu Marty, who is essentially, from my understanding at least, the general manager of the team, as she does oversee production of this game in general. Right off the bat, in both of these interviews, she is asked why they decided to kill off Batman and what specific reasoning was behind that, and she answers very simply, actually. They just wanted to create something unique, something of their own, and didn't want it to feel similar to other Arkham games. Not that the Arkham games are bad, but they wanted to differentiate themselves. And she actually drives home what Patrick Redding said in an interview that I read out in my last video, talking about how this was never intended to be a sequel to Arkham Knight. They always wanted this to be in their own universe, surprisingly. So this was never intended to actually be in the Arkham canon. From the beginning, they actually decided that this should be a new universe. So the main reason why Bruce won't actually be in this game, in a large capacity at least, is because they just wanted to differentiate themselves from other Bat Family-based stories. However, there are multiple other pros to having Batman not be in this story. For example, how Gotham reacts. Gotham is thrown into chaos, especially when the GCPD does not trust the current Bat Family, so there are going to be a lot more crimes in the city, and we are going to see a lot more random attacks against civilians. We already see that in the trailer at least, but it is cool to know that this will be a run-down Gotham City. We also have the Nemesis, and by the way, Nemesis is used multiple times throughout this article, so call back to the Nemesis system. This might actually still be a feature in the game, and if you don't know what that is, don't worry, it's one of my old videos. But they wanted to explore how Batman's enemies would react, like Mr. Freeze, like Joker. If Joker is in this game, he's not confirmed, but if he is in this game, what will he do now that Batman's not there? Will he just go after Batgirl, Robin, and Nightwing? Will he not believe Batman's dead? Will he try to draw him out some way? These are interesting things that they wanted to explore in the psychology of how the villains will work, now that they don't have this constant threat of the Batman looming over them, and they don't take his sidekicks too seriously. And beyond that, actually, our legends as Batman's ex-sidekicks, if you will actually grow throughout the game, and we will become slowly more respected by the villains, the city, and the GCPD by the end of the game. A reason to why these four characters specifically were chosen is simply because of their differentiating playstyles. Red Hood uses ranged weapons. Robin actually teleports to his enemies. We see that in the first trailer for the game. He teleports mid-battle. Batgirl will be the one that's most like Batman in the Arkham games. If you saw my gameplay analysis video, then you do recognize that the base DNA of the free flow combat system from the Arkham games is still there. You're still bouncing from enemy to enemy, except you're encouraged to stay on one enemy a little bit longer to do a little bit more damage. So it's not just like Arkham where you're constantly going across the screen. It's still like that to where you can still do that, but you're rewarded for staying on one enemy and doing high amounts of damage for a little bit longer period of time. And we have Nightwing, who does not use hand-to-hand combat like Batgirl. He actually uses his Eskrima sticks, and judging by the trailer, he will actually have a lot of special attacks. Like in the trailer, we saw him doing this like wide range takedown and like this weird circular spinning thing. I don't know, I can't describe it, but it's definitely going to be really cool to see how these four characters are differentiated. And Patrick Redding did specify that they did make it similar to Batman Arkham in the way that it has similar DNA, but they did want to differentiate it enough to make it fresh and interesting, and they do have confidence in their combat, and they do think it's a good combat system. They also chose these four characters to play as because, yes, they were all trained by Batman, so they have a lot of the core same abilities and similar controller layout and button layout. However, they will have their own unique style and way of fighting. Flu Marty actually says directly, "We didn't want them all to converge on some kind of Batman copy. We really wanted them to become a different kind of Dark Knight." The interviewer then goes on to ask questions about the open world, which does give us some interesting insight to how the open world will work. This will by far be the largest map we have ever seen in any Batman game. The city will have 5 distinct boroughs, and these boroughs of the city will actually have their own neighborhoods and districts. So imagine how in Arkham City, where you had the 4 districts, you have Industrial District, Amusement Mile, you had Park Row, and you had the Cobblepot, the Bowery, whatever. And imagine those are all districts. Imagine Arkham City, the entire Arkham City map is one borough. We're going to have 5 times that. This map is going to be insane, and she actually goes on to say that each different borough of the map will have its own architecture, and it will reflect one of the founding families of Gotham. So in my trailer analysis video, when I pointed out that Elliot was actually written on multiple buildings, and I thought it could be a reference to Thomas Elliot, I could have been right. Like, we could actually see, like, this Wayne section of the city that was founded by the Waynes, like Solomon Wayne Courthouse. And then we could see, like, this Dr. Thomas Wayne dedicated buildings in this part of the city. We could potentially see a Cobblepot part of the city where we have a lot of, crime in that area. Same thing with Roman Sionis. This could be very interesting. I'm very excited to see how this goes, and I'm very excited to see how these distinct, different parts of the city and how they will differentiate them. We then just get some information that we kind of already know about, like how it will have a day and night cycle, and we will spend the day, and the Belfry going over the information with Alfred and to unlock new missions. We will actually have to go back to the Belfry if we want to swap playable characters, and it is going to be a populated city because they really wanted to show the citizens of Gotham, and again, the story will take place over multiple nights, presumably weeks or possibly even months, so we are going to see changes in the city over time through the campaign and how citizens react to us in the open world populated city. Speaking of open world, co-op is going to be very interesting in this game. It's going to be very fluid and free. You're not going to be restricted by it in any way. What I mean by that is, if you have someone join your game session, which you can choose not to have that, but if you do choose the option to have someone drop in your game session at any time, they don't have to be next to you. They can literally go across the entire city, do their own missions. I'm sure there's going to be a way for them to not start your story missions, but when they join your world, they can do like random crime activities and just beat up random thugs. And this is completely optional. And she actually goes on to say that the game was designed with single player content, and that multiplayer is one of those things that is optional, and that you're not going to miss out on anything. And they really tried balancing it for 2 people or for 1 person. They tried balancing the combat to make it fun for 1 person, but they also tried making it work for 2 people playing at the same time. I think it's going to be very interesting. Again, people are comparing this game with Avengers. I might make a video on that because it does kind of annoy me. This game is not like Avengers, where a single player was the afterthought in that game. It's really supposed to be enjoyed with your friends. And this game is supposed to be enjoyed by yourself, with multiplayer being an added option. There's a reason why you can only play with 1 other person. It's because they didn't want to make this a multiplayer game. They wanted to make it a single player game with the added option of, hey, now you can do dual team takedowns with your best friend as Robin. That is going to be amazing. When asked more story-specific questions, Flu Marty actually goes on to say that one of the great things about working with Warner Brothers is the fact that they can basically get in your room with anyone. If they wanted to get in the room with Jim Lee or Scott Snyder, which they did, they could just talk privately about comics for hours and talk about what arcs they want to do in this game, and they can just spitball and brainstorm ideas together, which is insane, and it's absolutely amazing to me. And she talks about how, yes, they did take inspiration from many different comic book arcs, including the Court of Owls, obviously, but this is an entirely new story, and it will offer many twists and turns to comic book veterans. When talking specifically about why they chose the Court of Owls, she said, and I quote, "And then we are all very big fans of the mysteries and also of the detective side, which is still very present in the universe of Batman. The Court of Owls, therefore, seemed like a beautiful mystery to explore." This sounds very interesting to me, guys, because there's going to be a lot of detective elements in this game, unlike some of the other Arkham games. One more quote that I want to read out to you guys is when she was asked about future DLC characters. She says, "Right now, it's really the 4 that we're focusing on. The future will be the future, but in any case, the 4 characters in our game are Batgirl, Nightwing, Robin, and Red Hood." So this really does, again with the other articles that I've already talked about, this kind of does confirm DLC, which we kind of already expected. Every single other Batman game has had some sort of DLC character, like the Joker, Catwoman, Nightwing, Robin, Deathstroke. Hopefully we get to play as Talon in this game, that'd be cool. But regardless, we are going to get some extra content after this game is done, and I'm very excited for it. And last but most certainly not least, she's asked, when can we expect to see the game to be available? And she says 2021, no further details. The platforms will have we have confirmed our current and next gen PlayStation and Xbox. Then there's PC. That is good news. And as always, if you watch this far in the video, please subscribe because you enjoy my content. I have to ask you, it takes a lot of work putting out these videos. It's actually pretty late at night. I gotta go to bed. And sorry to all my current subscribers for not making a video so far this week. I made like one live stream, which did not go well at all. And I also did a video like last Saturday, which is sorry about that. But I'm taking 4AP classes. It's my junior year, and I had like 5-6 quizzes and tests this week. But your boy has an A in all the classes except for AP US History, which I have an 89 in. So I don't know how long I'm going to keep that up, but for the time being, it's amazing. And I'm sorry I had to take a break from YouTube to study, but hopefully you guys are all caught up on the news. Any videos, any news that you think I should make a video about? I have tons of video ideas, more than I've ever had before since this game's announced. I thought that maybe when this game was announced, we're not going to get a lot of news. No siree. We have plenty of stuff that I cannot wait to cover. It is going to be fun. It is going to be amazing. I cannot wait to cover this with you. All these interviews that are going around. I'd like to get around to make some of these videos, but of course I'm busy. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm joining on at this point. I gotta go to bed. I have to edit and export this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like the video. It really does take a second, and it helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. Comment also helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. Any interesting thoughts on this video? Stay awesome, y'all, and peace.